Discovery in the deep. The Nautilus cut through the dark waters of the Pacific Ocean, its powerful lights illuminating the endless expanse of midnight blue. Dr. Maya Chen stood at the viewport, her eyes fixed on the sonar display that had brought them to this precise location, 3,000 meters below the surface. Something was down there, something that shouldn't exist at these depths. Sonar confirmation. Dr. Chen called out Sarah Martinez, their lead sensor specialist. The structure remains consistent with initial scans. Definitely artificial, definitely not one of ours. Maya nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. After 15 years of searching for evidence of extraterrestrial life, they might have finally found it. The structure they detected was massive, roughly the size of a football field, and appeared to be made of materials unknown to Earth science. "Take us closer, James," she instructed their pilot. "Keep us steady at 100 meters from the target." The Nautilus descended slowly, its lights revealing more details of the extraordinary discovery. The structure was clearly geometric, with smooth surfaces that seemed to absorb their lights rather than reflect them. What appeared to be symbols or writing covered portions of its surface, complex patterns that defied immediate analysis. Captain Richard Torres approached the viewport, his expression serious. "Maya, are you sure about this? We're way beyond our approved depth range." "Look at it, Richard," Maya replied, gesturing at the structure. "This could be the greatest discovery in human history. We can't back away now." The captain sighed but nodded. He'd known Maya long enough to recognize when her mind was made up. "All right, but we do this by the book. No unnecessary risks." Maya activated the ship's external sampling array. As data began flowing across her screens, she felt her pulse quicken. The material composition was like nothing they'd ever encountered, an alloy that shouldn't be possible under Earth conditions. "Dr. Chen." Sarah's voice carried an urgent edge. "We're picking up energy readings from the structure. It's becoming active." The entire team froze as a soft blue glow began emanating from the geometric patterns on the structure's surface. The light pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat awakening from a long slumber. "All stations, report," Captain Torres commanded, his voice steady despite the tension. "Hull integrity stable," James responded from the pilot's station. "No radiation detected," Sarah added, "but the energy signature is increasing exponentially." Maya's fingers flew across her console as she analyzed the incoming data. These readings, they're similar to quantum entanglement patterns, but the scale is massive. The blue light suddenly intensified, sending beams through the dark water. The structure's surface began to shift, sections rotating and realigning like an enormous puzzle box. "Multiple sections moving," Sarah reported. "The structure appears to be reconfiguring itself." As they watched in amazement, a central section of the structure slid open, revealing a cavernous interior chamber. The blue light poured out, illuminating the ocean around them with an otherworldly glow. "My God," Maya whispered. "It's not just a structure. It's a facility, or a station of some kind." Captain Torres studied the readings on his own display. Environmental analysis shows the chamber is pressurized. Atmosphere appears to be breathable. Maya turned to face him, her eyes bright with determination. "We need to go inside." "Absolutely not," Torres replied immediately. "We have no idea what that thing is or who built it. For all we know, it could be a trap." "Richard, think about what we're seeing here," Maya argued. "This is clearly advanced technology, far beyond anything humanity has achieved. But it's responding to our presence. It's inviting us in." "All the more reason to be cautious," Torres countered. "We should call this in, get a full research team out here." "By then it might shut down again," Maya said. "We might never get another chance. Besides, we are a research team." Sarah spoke up from her station. "The energy signature has stabilized. If we're going to investigate, now would be the time." Torres looked around at his crew. They were all professionals, among the best in their fields. And Maya was right. This was the discovery of a lifetime. Full environmental suits, he finally ordered. Backup life support, emergency beacons, and constant communication. We go in pairs, no one goes anywhere alone. Maya smiled. Thank you, Richard. Don't thank me yet, he replied grimly. I've got a feeling we're about to step into something bigger than any of us realize. The next hour was spent in careful preparation. Maya, Sarah, Torres, and James suited up while the rest of the crew maintained position with the Nautilus. As they entered the airlock, Maya couldn't help but feel that humanity was about to cross a threshold from which there would be no return. The structure's entrance had aligned perfectly with their airlock, creating a seamless connection. As they stepped through, the blue light seemed to pulse in welcome. This architecture, Sarah murmured, running a scanner along the walls. The angles, the patterns, they're all based on perfect mathematical ratios. Whoever built this had an incredible understanding of geometry and physics. Maya approached what appeared to be a control panel, its surface covered in the same intricate symbols they'd seen outside. As she drew near, the symbols began to glow, and a holographic display materialized in the air before her. Incredible, she breathed. It's still functioning after who knows how many years under the ocean. Maya, Torres called out, his voice tight with concern. Don't touch anything yet. Let's secure the area first. But even as he spoke, the holographic display began to change, symbols shifting and rearranging themselves. A deep vibration ran through the structure, and new passages began to open around them. It's responding to our presence, Maya said excitedly. The entire facility is waking up. The vibrations grew stronger, and suddenly the holographic display exploded into a three-dimensional map of the cosmos. But it wasn't any star chart they recognized. The configurations were wrong, the patterns alien. This isn't a map of our universe, Maya realized, her voice filled with awe. It's showing us another reality entirely. Before anyone could respond, a new sound filled the chamber. A high-pitched whine that seemed to come from everywhere at once. The blue light intensified, and in the center of the room, space itself began to tear open. They had found more than just an alien structure. They had found a gateway between worlds, and it was opening before their eyes. First contact. The gateway hung in the air like a tear in reality itself, its edges rippling with energy that defied the laws of physics. Maya and her team stood transfixed, their suit sensors struggling to process the readings from the phenomenon before them. Everyone back, Torres ordered, his voice cutting through the tension. We don't know what kind of radiation that thing might be putting out. But before they could retreat, the gateway stabilized, its surface becoming mirror-smooth and slightly translucent. Through it, they could see what appeared to be another chamber, similar to their own, but bathed in a different kind of light. Energy readings are off the charts, Sarah reported, her voice trembling with excitement. But there's no harmful radiation. It's clean energy, unlike anything we've ever seen. Maya took a step forward, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her caution. The gateway's surface rippled in response to her proximity, like water disturbed by a gentle breeze. Dr. Chen, Torres warned, don't get too close. The facility responded to us earlier, Maya replied, not taking her eyes off the gateway. It recognized us somehow. I don't think it means us harm. As if in response to her words, new symbols appeared in the holographic display, rapidly shifting and changing. Maya studied them intently, her mind racing to understand their meaning. These patterns, they're not random. It's a language, but it's also mathematical. Each symbol represents both a concept and a quantum state. Can you understand it? Sarah asked, moving closer to examine the symbols herself. Not exactly, but I'm starting to see the logic behind it. It's like... Maya's voice trailed off as she noticed something moving on the other side of the gateway. Through the translucent surface, shadows were beginning to take form. They were tall, elegant shapes that moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost impossible. The team watched, hearts pounding, as the figures drew closer to their side of the gateway. First contact protocol, Torres reminded them quietly. No sudden movements, no aggressive gestures. The figures reached the gateway's surface, and for a moment, everything seemed to freeze. Then, with a ripple of energy, they stepped through. Maya's breath caught in her throat. The beings before them were unlike anything she had imagined. They stood nearly 3 meters tall, their bodies seeming to shift between solid and translucent states. Their form was vaguely humanoid, but their features were alien in ways that defied easy description. The tallest of the beings stepped forward, raising what appeared to be an arm in a gesture that somehow managed to convey both greeting and caution. When it spoke, its voice seemed to bypass their ears entirely, manifesting directly in their minds. Children of Earth, the voice resonated in their thoughts. You have awakened the gateway. We have been waiting a very long time for this moment. Maya found herself stepping forward, despite Torres's attempt to hold her back. You know who we are. We have watched your species grow, the being replied. We are the Guardians, and we have maintained the gateway network since the time of the Builders. The Builders? Maya asked, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her awe. Who were they? The being's form shimmed slightly, a movement that somehow conveyed sadness. They were the first to span the void between universes. They created the gateway network to connect all realities, all possibilities. But they vanished long ago, leaving only their works behind. And you've been waiting for us? Torres asked, his voice heavy with skepticism. Why? Because your species has something we need, the Guardian replied. Something that may save not just our universe, but all universes. Before they could ask what that something was, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. The holographic displays turned red, symbols spinning and shifting rapidly. What's happening? Sarah called out, checking her instruments. The Guardian's form became more solid, its movements more urgent. The gateway is destabilizing. Your presence here has triggered a cascade effect we did not anticipate. If it is not contained, it could tear both our universes apart. Maya rushed to the control panel, studying the rapidly changing displays. These readings, the quantum field is collapsing. How do we stop it? We cannot. The Guardian stated, not from this side. The instability must be corrected from our universe, but we lack the ability to do so. Our understanding of certain fundamental forces is limited. Limited? Torres asked. You're clearly more advanced than we are. How can you be limited? Because, the Guardian replied, we evolved in a universe with different physical laws. What comes naturally to humans, your intuitive understanding of chaos, of adaptation, of finding order in disorder. These are abilities we never developed. That is why we have waited for you. Maya looked at the readings again, her mind racing. The patterns were complex, but not incomprehensible. She could see the underlying logic, the mathematical poetry of it all. I think I understand, she said slowly. Your universe is too ordered, too perfect. You need our chaos, our ability to think outside the boundaries of pure logic. Yes, the Guardian confirmed, but there is little time. The gateway network is failing. Will you help us? Maya turned to Torres, her expression determined. Richard, we have to go through. If that gateway collapses, it could take half the Pacific with it. Torres looked at his team, then at the Guardians, and finally at the increasingly unstable gateway. They had come looking for evidence of alien life, and instead found themselves faced with a crisis that threatened multiple universes. Full team evacuation, he commanded into his radio. Get the Nautilus to safe distance. And Maya, he turned to her with a grim smile. I hope you're ready to make history. The gateway pulsed with increasing intensity as Maya and her team prepared to step through. They were about to venture into another universe, armed with nothing but their human ingenuity and determination. But sometimes, as Maya was beginning to understand, that was exactly what was needed. Just before they stepped through, She took one last look at the alien structure that had changed everything. Humanity had dreamed of reaching the stars, but they had found something far more extraordinary in the depths of their own ocean. Now they would prove whether they were truly ready for what lay beyond. Beyond the void. Stepping through the gateway felt like being unmade and remade in the span of a heartbeat. Maya's consciousness stretched and compressed, her very atoms seeming to dance on the edge of existence. Then, with a rush of sensation, she found herself standing in a world that defied everything she knew about reality. The Guardian's universe was beautiful in ways that human language struggled to describe. The chamber they stood in appeared to be made of crystalline structures that sang with harmonies just beyond the edge of hearing. Light didn't just illuminate. It flowed like water, creating patterns that seemed to follow mathematical rules, yet remained somehow organic. "This is incredible," Sarah whispered, her voice filled with awe. "The physics here, it's all wrong. Or maybe we've been wrong all along." Torres maintained his professional composure, though his eyes betrayed his amazement. "Stay focused. We have a job to do." How long until the gateway network collapses? The Guardian who had accompanied them, they had learned its designation was Nexus, shifted its crystalline form in what they had come to recognize as concern. By your time measurements, less than 6 hours. The cascade failure is accelerating. Maya was already moving toward what appeared to be the universe's version of a control center. The displays here were even more complex, showing the entire gateway network as a multidimensional web of connections spanning countless realities. "The instability is spreading through the network like a virus," she observed, studying the patterns. "Each gateway that fails increases the strain on the others." "Correct," Nexus confirmed. "Our attempts to stabilize the network have only accelerated the degradation. Our solutions are too perfect. The network requires something else." James, who had been quietly observing until now, stepped forward. "It's like trying to repair a natural ecosystem with artificial components. Sometimes the imperfect solution is actually better because it can adapt." Maya's eyes lit up with understanding. "That's it. The builders didn't create a perfect system. They created one that could evolve and adapt. But your civilization's solutions are too rigid, too mathematically perfect." She turned to the displays, her mind racing. The patterns of degradation weren't random. They followed a chaotic but recognizable pattern, like weather systems on Earth or the flow of ocean currents. "We need to stop trying to force the network back to its original state," she explained, her fingers dancing across the alien controls. "Instead, we need to help it find a new equilibrium, like a river changing its course." The Guardians gathered around her, their forms shimmering with what might have been confusion or curiosity. "But that would mean accepting imperfection in the network," one of them observed. "Imperfection isn't always a flaw," Torres responded, beginning to understand. "Sometimes it's what makes a system stronger." Maya worked frantically, applying principles of chaos theory and fluid dynamics to the quantum mechanics of the gateway network. It was like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces kept changing shape, but that very complexity gave her hope. Human minds were uniquely suited to finding patterns in chaos. "Sarah, I need you to help me model these energy flows," Maya called out. "James, start calculating pressure points in the network where we can introduce controlled instability." Controlled instability? Nexus asked, the concept seemingly foreign to their perfect, ordered minds. "Sometimes you have to start a backfire to stop a wildfire," Maya explained. "We're going to introduce small, manageable chaos into the system. The network will adapt around these points, creating new patterns of stability." As they worked, the chamber began to shake. Through the crystalline walls, they could see other gateways in the distance, their surfaces flickering and distorting as the cascade failure spread. "It's not working fast enough," Sarah reported, her voice tense. "The degradation is still accelerating." Maya stared at the displays, her mind racing. They were missing something. The solution was there, just at the edge of her understanding. Then she saw it, A pattern within the chaos, a rhythm in the destruction that reminded her of music, she whispered. It's like a symphony. She turned to Nexus. You said your structures sing. The whole network. It's not just mathematical, it's musical. The builders didn't just create a network, they created an instrument. Understanding dawned on the Guardian's features. Yes, yes. The harmonics of creation itself. We had forgotten. Maya's fingers flew across the controls with new purpose. We don't need to force new patterns. We need to change the rhythm. Sarah, start introducing harmonic variations into the energy flow. James, synchronize your chaos points with the natural resonance of the network. The chamber filled with sound, not just the subtle harmonies they had heard before, but a full symphony of quantum frequencies. The gateway network responded, its patterns of degradation beginning to shift and change. It's working, Sarah called out excitedly. The network is stabilizing, but differently. It's like it's learning a new song. Through the walls, they could see the failing gateways steadying, their surfaces taking on new patterns that were neither purely ordered nor chaotic, but a beautiful blend of both. Torres watched the displays with growing hope. How long until full stabilization? Another hour, maybe two, Maya replied, not taking her eyes off her work. But it's going to hold. The network is finding its new rhythm. As they worked to complete the stabilization, Maya couldn't help but smile. Humanity had just proven its worth to an advanced civilization, not through superior technology or perfect logic, but through their unique ability to find beauty in imperfection and strength in adaptation. The universe, it seemed, needed a little human chaos after all. The choice. As the gateway network settled into its new harmony, the chamber filled with a soft, pulsing light that seemed to dance in time with the quantum frequencies. Maya stood back from the control center, exhausted but triumphant. They had done it. They had saved not just one universe, but countless others connected through the network. The network has achieved a new equilibrium, Nexus announced, its crystalline form shimmering with what seemed like joy. You have done what we thought impossible. You have taught perfection how to dance with chaos. Torres approached the displays, studying the new patterns. The network looks different now. More alive somehow. Because it is, Maya replied, understanding dawning in her eyes. We didn't just repair it. We helped it evolve. The builders, this is what they intended all along. Sarah looked up from her readings, her expression puzzled. What do you mean? Before Maya could respond, the chamber's walls suddenly became transparent, revealing a vista that took their breath away. They could see other gateways stretching into infinity, each one now pulsing with a unique rhythm that somehow contributed to the greater harmony of the whole. The builders were not just creating connections between universes, Nexus explained, its mental voice filled with newfound understanding. They were creating a living network, one that could grow and adapt. But they knew it would need both order and chaos to survive. That's why you waited for us, James said slowly. You needed our human perspective, our ability to see patterns in chaos, to find solutions that aren't perfect, but work better because of their imperfections. Yes, Nexus confirmed. But there is more. The network's new stability has revealed something the builders left behind. A message hidden in the quantum harmonics themselves. The displays shifted, showing new patterns that seemed to write themselves into reality. Maya studied them intently, her scientific mind racing to understand. It's not just a message, she gasped. It's a warning. The builders, they saw something coming. Something that threatens not just one universe, but all of reality itself. Torres stepped closer, his expression grim. What kind of threat? They called it the Void. Nexus translated, its form dimming slightly. A force of true entropy, consuming entire universes. The builders created the Gateway Network not just as a means of connection, but as a defense system. Each gateway is a node in a vast quantum web designed to detect and contain the void when it arrives. When, not if, Maya noted, her voice quiet. And now the network is showing signs of activation. The void. It's coming, isn't it? Yes, Nexus confirmed. The instability we encountered was not random. It was the network responding to the void's approach. Your solution has not just stabilized the gateways. It has awakened the network's true purpose. The chamber filled with new displays, showing what looked like tears in the fabric of reality itself. Places where entire universes had simply ceased to exist. The void has already consumed several universes on the outer edges of the network, Nexus explained. Your universe and ours lie in its path. But now we have a chance to stop it, thanks to your understanding of chaos and adaptation. Maya studied the new data intently. The network isn't just a detection system. It's a weapon. But it needs both our abilities to work, your understanding of perfect order, and our grasp of beneficial chaos. Which brings us to the choice, Nexus said solemnly. We cannot maintain the network alone. We have seen that our perfect order is insufficient. We need humanity's chaos, your adaptability, your unique perspective. We need you to join us as true partners in defending all of reality. Torres looked at his team, then back at the Guardian. What exactly are you asking? We are asking humanity to take its place among the defenders of existence itself, Nexus replied. To help us maintain and evolve the network, to prepare for the battle against the void. But this choice must be made freely, with full understanding of its consequences. Maya turned to Torres, her eyes bright with determination. Richard, this is bigger than us, bigger than Earth. We're talking about the survival of all reality. It's not a decision we can make for all of humanity, Torres countered, though his voice held a note of uncertainty. No, Maya agreed, but we can be the first. We can show Earth that we're ready for this responsibility. That humanity has something unique to offer the multiverse. As if in response to her words, the gateway network pulsed with new energy, its harmonies shifting to create what sounded almost like a song of hope. Time grows short, Nexus warned. The void continues its advance. What is your choice? Defenders of reality. The chamber hummed with anticipation as Maya and her team faced their moment of decision. Through the crystalline walls, they could see the gateway network stretching into infinity, each portal now pulsing with the new harmony they had helped create. The fate of countless universes hung in the balance. Torres stepped forward, his expression resolute. Before we make this choice, I need to understand something. Why us? Of all the species in all the universes, why did the builders set this up for humanity to find? Nexus's form shifted, creating patterns that seemed to echo the network's rhythms. The builders saw patterns in time itself. They saw that humanity, despite its flaws, or perhaps because of them, would develop exactly the qualities needed for this task. You are young as a species, yet you possess an extraordinary combination of traits. What traits? Sarah asked, still monitoring the network's harmonics. Your adaptability, your creativity, your ability to find unconventional solutions, Nexus explained. But most importantly, your capacity to maintain individuality while working as part of a greater whole. You understand both chaos and cooperation in ways we never could. Maya watched the displays showing the void's advance. It was like watching a cancer spread through reality itself, consuming everything in its path. But now she could see patterns in its movement, weaknesses in its approach. We can't just defend against it, she said suddenly, understanding dawning in her eyes. We need to adapt the network to fight back. Not with perfect order, but with controlled chaos. James nodded, catching her meaning. Like an immune system, we introduce controlled chaos to strengthen the network's defenses, make it more resilient. Exactly, Maya turned to Nexus. Your people understand the fundamental structure of reality. Humanity understands how to bend rules without breaking them. Together, we might not just stop the void. We might be able to heal the damage it's already done. The chamber filled with new harmonics as the network responded to their ideas, as if reality itself was endorsing their approach. Torres looked at his team, seeing the same determination in their eyes that he felt in his heart. "We'll need to contact Earth," he said. "This isn't something we can hide. Humanity needs to know what's out there, what's at stake, and how we can help," Sarah added firmly. Nexus's form brightened. "Then you accept." Maya stepped forward, her voice clear and confident. "We accept, but with conditions. This has to be a true partnership. Humanity won't just be your chaos generators. We'll be equal partners in understanding and developing the network. We'll share knowledge, teach each other, grow together. And we do this our way," Torres added. "No hiding in the shadows. We bring this to the world's governments, to the scientific community. Humanity faces this challenge united and informed." The Guardian's form pulsed with what seemed like approval. "Your conditions are wise. The Builders foresaw this too, that humanity would demand transparency and equality. It is another reason you were chosen." The network's harmony shifted again, and new displays appeared in the chamber. They showed detailed plans, technical specifications, and mathematical formulas. Everything humanity would need to understand and work with the gateway technology. "This is just the beginning," Nexus said. "The Builders left more than just the network. They left libraries of knowledge, technical specifications, scientific understanding beyond anything your species has yet achieved. All of it waiting for humanity to reach this moment, to prove yourselves ready." Maya studied the displays with growing excitement. The technological and scientific advances shown in the Builders database would revolutionize human understanding of the universe. But more importantly, they would give humanity the tools needed to face the coming threat. "How long do we have?" Torres asked, ever practical. "Before the void reaches our universe." "By your measurements, approximately 10 Earth years," Nexus replied. "Time enough to prepare, if we work together." Maya looked at her team, then back at the Guardian. "Then we should get started. Earth needs to know what's coming, and we need to begin preparing." The chamber's harmonics rose to a crescendo as the network seemed to celebrate their decision. Through the walls, they could see other Guardians gathering, their crystalline forms shimmering with what might have been hope. The Builders had a saying, Nexus shared, its mental voice filled with newfound warmth. They believe that the strongest shield is not one of pure steel, but one woven from many different threads. Order and chaos, structure and adaptation, ancient wisdom, and new perspectives, all working together in harmony. Maya smiled, understanding the profound truth in those words. Humanity had spent centuries looking to the stars for signs of intelligent life, never suspecting that their greatest contribution to the universe would be their very human qualities, their imperfections, their adaptability, their chaos. As the team prepared to return to Earth with their world-changing discovery, Maya took one last look at the infinite network of gateways stretching into the distance. They had come seeking knowledge and found destiny instead. Humanity would face its greatest challenge not through perfect order or pure strength, but through its unique ability to dance between chaos and harmony, to find patterns in disorder, and to turn imperfection into advantage. The void was coming, but it would find humanity ready, not just as defenders of Earth, but as guardians of all reality, standing alongside their new allies in the greatest battle existence had ever known. And somewhere, in the quantum harmonies of the network, Maya thought she could hear the Builders' ancient wisdom singing. In the end, it was not perfection that would save the universe, but the beautiful chaos of human innovation. The end.